Okay, so today we are going to be doing CHING number 91. I know I've said before in past CHINGs, but just to reiterate, I am still behind with recording my CHING videos. I wouldn't say I'm behind recording CHING videos because I usually only do one once a week, but these are from a couple months back. Like, they're not from like this week or this month per se. So if you maybe bought something from me recently and are looking to see what you purchased, it might not be in a cha-ching real soon if it was something recent. I just wanted to make mention of that just in case. I don't want anyone to think like I forgot about them or anything like that. So this is cha-ching number 91, still creeping up to that 100th video of my cha-chings. So let's start in with where we left off, which was a purse. This was by a company called Rags to Riches. I found this at a yard sale. I wasn't really familiar with this purse brand, but I did run a quick comp on it when I found it, and I did see that they were selling pretty decently, and it was a very well made purse. I could tell that as soon as I picked it up, kind of thing. So that did sell for $49.99, and I'd say I paid $5 or less for it at the yard sale. I am getting into those Monet trinket boxes. If you guys remember, Eric and I purchased a bunch of trinket boxes. I am excluding them from these cha-chings, and I'm going to be doing a separate video specifically just on those Monet trinket boxes. So some of these sales, I was selling those trinket boxes, but they will be in a separate cha-ching. So the next item we have is a trinket box, but it wasn't Monet. This was an enamel donkey shaped trinket box. Eric won 2 of these at an auction. They both sold just a little, they didn't look exactly alike, but they were similar. They were both donkeys. Anyway, I didn't see like a brand or anything on these, but some of these enameled figural trinket boxes still can sell pretty decently. This one here sold for $29.99, and I'd say he paid $6 for the pair of them at the auction. Next item was a good sale. This one was for a set of 2 Pokemon Game Boy Advance games in Fire Red and Leaf Green. I actually found these at a yard sale, and I think I paid $1 a piece for them, so $2 into them. So crazy. Those sold for $189.99. I don't consider myself like a video game reseller, but I will pick them up if it's something that like I know to look out for, and I knew that these Pokemon games were desirable. They do fake these, so Eric had to like unscrew the back. You can find YouTube videos specifically on how to tell if your Pokemon Game Boy Advance games are real or fake. So that's what we did. We watched some videos. Eric unscrewed the back. There was a way to look like on the inside of them, and they were authentic. So that was awesome. Next we have a tin lunchbox. This was called Faster Pussycat. That sold for $39.99, and that did come from an auction, and I'd say we spent maybe $5 on it or $6. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, and it may have come with some other stuff that we won. Next item I have is one of those pins you had seen in my last cha-ching video. Eric had won like a tray lot of Orioles pins and just like baseball enamel pins, and this was in there. This was for the Aberdeen Ironbirds. That sold for $9.99. I sold a Minions Despicable Me plush backpack. This was actually a backpack. I can't remember where I found this. I feel like it might have been at a fill-a-bag rummage sale, but I'm not entirely sure. That sold for $15.99, and I'd say I had about $1 or so into it. I sold a Daisy and Button opalescent glass tray. This here, and I don't know why eBay's like doing this now. Like whenever I would do my cha-chings and I have my screenshots, it would show the like best offer amount, and it's not doing that anymore. So this is showing that it sold for $14.99, but I actually took a best offer of $10 for it, and that I'm sure came from a yard sale, and I probably paid a quarter or 50 cents for it. Next item I have is a vintage Topps plastic light up Santa on a reindeer. This was, oh my gosh, this is absolutely amazing. Eric and I won this at an auction. I feel like we paid maybe $25 tops for it, and it sold for $169.99. It was a really nice one. Beautiful, beautiful condition for its age. I sold a pair of vintage from 1970 Barbie boots. These were like green go-go boots. They call these squishy boots because if you're familiar with like vintage Barbie shoes, some of them have that like squishy feeling when you touch them. Those sold for $9.99, and they came from a big Barbie train case that I purchased at an auction. And I say in my videos all the time, I still like, I've just been like digging stuff out of it here and there. Oh my gosh, when you buy like a large tote full of something or case full of something, you know, the quickest way to get rid of it and make a decent amount is to lot it all up, right? In just one big lot, and then let people just bid away on it. But obviously if you want to make the most out of it, but the more time consuming part is to part it out into, you know, individual or, you know, smaller lots and that type of thing. So I have been taking some stuff out of it, but once I get to the point where I'm like, I can't do this anymore, I will probably just list it all together. Next we have, the next two items went to Jackie. This first one was a fossil purse that sold for $39.99. That probably came from a yard sale, and I'd say I spent maybe $5 tops for that. And she also purchased a Clinique Runway Coral lipstick for $18.99. And again, I would say maybe yard sale for that one, or it could have come from an estate sale that I went to where I got a bunch of Clinique and Estee Lauder items for $1 a piece. Next item also came from a yard sale. This was for a pair of green Birkenstock sandals. Those sold for $49.99. And again, I'd say $4 to $5 into those. I sold an Acura. These are called tongue cutters. They were to trim film. Eric and I found this at an auction. He's the one who found it and looked it up because he didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. Found out they were like film trimmers. Anyway, they were selling pretty well. So those sold for $29.99, and I'm pretty sure he paid $1 for them. I sold a lot of two vintage He-Man Masters of the Universe. These were magazines. Like apparently back in the 80s, the Masters of the Universe had a magazine. These sold for $42. And I think the one was like the very last issue, I want to say, that was ever made. So it, you know, was a little more desirable of an issue. I got like a stack of just some like vintage kids magazines and stuff at an auction. And I'd say I paid maybe like $10 for the lot. And I did sell quite a few of them. Next was also a vintage from 1988 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figure. This was brand new, mint, pretty much mint on the card. Like the plastic wasn't yellowing or anything, just amazing condition. Eric and I won that at an auction, and I'd say we paid maybe $40 some for it, maybe closer to $50. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that did sell for $159.99. And it's funny, like a couple weeks later, more Turtles action figures on the cards showed up at the auction, and we didn't get any of those. So, you know, it just so happened that week, you know, luck was on our side, and there wasn't any like collector or anyone there for them, so we were able to get it at a really good price. Next item we have is a perfume. This is by Beekman 1802. It was in the scent Honey Orange Blossom, I believe. That sold for $29.99. That did come from a yard sale. It was actually in like a gift set, but again, I parted out those perfumes and sold them separately, and they were doing really well, listing by themselves instead of listing as the gift set. So like I looked up how much the gift sets were selling for, and it was more profitable to sell the perfumes individually than it would have been just to sell the entire gift set itself. And I'd say I paid $5 for the set at a yard sale. I sold a BTS Chimney Head pillow. You had seen I had sold a unicorn head shaped one in another cha-ching. This one was like a puppy dog face. I did pick this up at a fill-a-bag rummage sale, so pretty much $1 into that, and it sold for $39.99. I was selling a bunch of my swung vases in this time frame, so I don't know if something happened and people were like, oh my god, swung vases, because they were like flying off my shelf at this point of this cha-ching, so that was nice. I sold this one here, the large orange Ellie Smith. This was a floor swung vase, like super huge. You could literally just like sit this on the floor if you wanted to. This sold for $189.99, and I got that at a rummage sale. So I paid $10 for this swung vase. If you guys remember the story, there was a man in front of me who was buying it. He only paid, I think, $1 for it because it couldn't fit in a bag, and I think what doesn't fit in a bag is $1. It could be $2 or $3. But anyway, like I asked him, I was like, you know, are you going to be selling that vase somewhere, you know? And he ended up having, he told me he had an antique booth and he was going to put it in the antique booth. And I was like, well, how much are you going to be selling it for in your antique booth? Because it's like, I'll just buy it outright for whatever your asking price is. So I was expecting to pay, you know, whatever he was going to pretty much sell it for in his antique booth. And he was the sweetest man ever. He told me that he would sell it to me for $10, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I was so tickled pink by it. Not just because I got it so cheap, but just the fact that it was beautiful and it was in my hands and I got to touch it. Like, I was so excited. Anyway, like I see this man all the time when I'm out now, rummage sales, yard sales, and that type of thing, because he is, you know, an antique dealer and everything like that, and he's just the sweetest man ever. So, you know, I'm still tickled pink by that, and like I want to like tell him like, hey, if you ever come across any more swung vases, I'll buy them from you. Like, I'll pay more than $10. Like, I have no problem with that. But it was one of those like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened moments in my reselling life. Anyway, next item was a vintage Mary Mushroom planter. This was a hanging planter. So you see that Mary Mushroom sets, a lot of the times you typically come across like the canister sets and stuff like that. So there are more oddball type of Mary Mushroom pieces that are harder to find, which in turn makes them more valuable. I had never seen one of these hanging planters before in my life until I saw it at the auction. I'd say I paid about $12 for it, and it sold for $61. So definitely, if you ever come across one of those, it is a more desirable piece. I also do believe that the Mary Mushroom clock is desirable, as well as the curtains and stuff like that. Just things you don't really come across with that print. Next we have, this item did go to a subscriber named Gina. This was for a set of vintage Japan Owl salt and pepper shakers. They had little leaves on them. Those sold for $7.99, and I'm pretty sure those just were on a tray of some other stuff that I won at an auction. I sold another Avon item. I think in one of my last videos, someone said like I turned into an Avon lady, and I guess that's kind of true in a way. I have been selling a lot of Avon. This was an Avon Occur cream perfume. This sold for $19.99. And again, that came from an auction where I was winning just a bunch of Avon items for not much at all. Next we have a deodorant. This was by a company called Primal Pit Paste. Lavender scented deodorant. I'm assuming they still make this. I'm not entirely sure. I got it at back when I worked at one of my old jobs. They would have sales every now and then of just product that they would raise money for Relay for Life. And so I purchased a bunch of these, and you know, it just never was one of my favorite deodorants. So I ended up selling some of my overstock. So that sold for $13.99, and I think I paid $1 for it at the sale. I sold a little refillable perfume atomizer. So this is just, you know, a little atomizer you can stick in your purse and fill it with your favorite perfume so you can carry it with you on the go. That sold for $7.99. And I think that just came with some other like perfumes, maybe like on a perfume tray that I won at an auction. Okay. Sold a vintage Audiophase portable CD player. This was brand new, still sealed in its original packaging. That sold for $39.99. I can't remember if that came from an auction or a yard sale. I'd say I spent maybe $5 on it. I sold a set of 4 Addams Family flashlights. These were just like little plastic flashlights. Those sold for $19.99, and they came from a box of toys I won at an auction for less than $10, and I made a lot of money off of that box of toys. That's where those Sweet Secrets dolls, I think they were my last cha-ching, came from the same box. Next we have a Sears candy Easter egg. This is like a paper mache Easter egg. It would have once had candies inside. This sold for $11.99. That came from an auction. Probably paid about $1 for that, and I think a couple more things came with it than just that egg. Next was a Longaberger basket. This was just a really small, kind of plain Jane Longaberger basket with a handle. I didn't pay anything for this. I remember when I got it, I had purchased, it was some sort of other Longaberger piece at a yard sale, and a lady just threw it in for free with whatever else I purchased there, which sold a long time ago. Next we have a Winnie the Pooh Piglet. Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, I should say, Christmas stocking. This sold for $45.99, and Eric and I won that at an auction. I'd say we paid maybe $6 for it tops. I think also my last cha-ching, I was selling all those Mary Hoyer doll dresses. This one took a little while longer to sell. I guess it just wasn't as desirable looking as the others. This one was for like a brown, kind of like prairie looking dress. That sold for $29.99. And again, if you didn't watch my last cha-ching, I got a couple Mary Hoyer dresses for $4. Let's see, where am I? Oh, this was a large Empoli genie bottle. This was 23 inches. I'm pretty sure this is the smoky gray one that I sold. This one here came from an auction, and I remember like it was super duper dirty, like very dingy looking. So when you're looking at it, and I'm sure other people felt the same way, like they couldn't really see the true beauty of it because it was dirty and dusty and just not very sparkly and shiny and pretty, right? So I actually got it at a decent price. I'd say less than $10 for it. And that sold for $99.99. So getting it home, giving it a bath, getting it all bright and shiny again. So it just takes a little work sometimes to get things looking beautiful again. Next item was a Bob Mackie top that sold for $29.99. That did come from an auction as well. I'd say I paid about $5 for that. Next we have a little German Shepherd Christmas ornament. I think the bell on it said something like Happy Holidays. That was just on a tray of some random stuff I won at the auction. I just decided to list it because, you know, a lot of people are always looking for Christmas ornaments that look like, you know, their own pets and stuff like that. And I thought it was really cute. And it sold for $6.99. I sold an Estee Lauder lipstick for $12.99. And again, I think this came from an estate sale where I purchased a bunch of lipsticks for a dollar a piece. This next item was a really awesome sale, and not just because of the price that I got for it, but the story behind it as well. So I found this Boo Boo Kitty plush at an auction, and I fell in love with it just because I love cats in general anyway. I can't remember what I paid for it exactly, but it wasn't much at all. I'd say $40 or under. It sold for $600. I got for it $600, which is insane. But you know, that people I think had them listed for even more than that. And when I say like if I list something for cheaper, it's not to bring the price of an item down. I look at solds and what things are actually selling for, and that's how I price stuff. So if I ever say like I priced it lower than someone else's sale, or if I priced it lower than, you know, someone else's listing, it's in no way, shape, or form to drive down the price of something. It's literally based off what it's selling for. So the other person has it listed for probably like way too much. Like no one's gonna pay that amount until maybe they're desperate, kind of thing. So sold for $600. And the person who purchased it from me, her name was also Michelle, and she told me that she had lost a sister to cancer, and I accepted her offer. She had asked for a lower price, so I accepted her offer on it. And she said it like brought back so many memories. It made her so incredibly happy to see it and to have it, and you know, that made me just feel so great because I understand like wanting those memories and those nostalgia pieces, you know, that remind you of someone who you've lost. Like I can totally relate to that. So, you know, it was one of those like really feel good kind of sales, and I'm kind of like getting teary-eyed. Okay, I'm just gonna stop and like go to the next one before I start crying. Okay, so the next item that I have, this was a gosh, that's like hitting me like really hard right now. I'm sorry guys. If you guys remember, Eric and I had won this at an auction. This was by the Bombay company. It was a large wooden it was a solitaire game, and it came with these heavy glass like marble balls, and these were selling really, really well. I think we paid maybe $20 or so for this, and it sold for $174.99. And the kicker to this is Eric and I had seen one of these at another auction like a week or so before, but we didn't really know anything about it. We didn't know about the game, and we thought like a ball was missing when in actuality it wasn't. So we probably could have gotten another one again at like a really good price, but didn't work out that way because we weren't as educated until the next time it rolled around. So, but now if we ever see them again, we would definitely purchase it. Next we have a Betty Crocker cookbook. This is from 1969. I think I might have said in like one of my last cha-chings how Betty Crocker cookbooks, like they do tend to sell. Some sell better than others, and it all depends on the editions and stuff like this. This one was a first edition, and that one sold for $39.99, and I'd say I got that at a yard sale for maybe like $1 or $2. I sold a doll play set. This goes to the My Life as dolls. They sell those at Walmart. This one was the Dinosaur Explorer. I got this like when I was Walmart clearance shopping one day. I'd say I paid maybe $3 for it, and that sold for $19.99. I sold a set of Occupied Japan bride and groom cake toppers. I labeled these as cake toppers. They were little like ceramic figures, but obviously you could use them as cake toppers if you wanted to. Those sold for $12.99, and they probably came from an auction on a tray lot of like other stuff that I won. I sold a 1978. This was for a large kind of bolt of fabric. Definitely like children's themed. It had some animals. I think it had horses or so on. I got this at a yard sale. I think I paid $5 for it, and it sold for $39.99. I sold a miniature bottle of Chloe perfume for $15.99. That again came from an auction. I had won a bunch of vintage mini perfumes. This item also came from an auction. This was for a YSL Opium perfume that sold for $90, and I think I paid, I might have paid $30 for that one. I sold a 1991 Tonka. These were by Tonka. These were called cupcake dolls, so it was for like a lot of them. I got those at a yard sale. I'd say I paid maybe $4 for the bag of them, and they sold for $29.99. I also sold another Department 56 ornament. This was a crinkles ornament of a little tiny mouse that sold for $29.99. The next 1, 2, 3, 4 items went to Sandra, who is a subscriber of mine. So she purchased another one of my swung vases. This one was a Fenton hobnail white milk glass vase that sold for $39.99. I did get that at an auction, and I probably paid maybe $9–10 for it. She also purchased a McCoy planter. It was kind of shaped like a boat. I won that at an auction with another planter. I don't know if, I'm assuming I already sold the other planter that it came with. I can't remember which one that was though. That sold for $19.99. And then she also purchased these were by Hallmark, 3 little Halloween votive candle holders. You could stack them if you weren't, using them as candle holders. Those sold for $12.99. Again, I think these came on a tray of stuff I won at an auction. I actually have these same exact ones I personally purchased at a yard sale that I use for my own Halloween decorating. And then she also purchased a small Fenton hobnail vase that sold for $12.99. And that came on a tray of some other white milk glass Fenton pieces that I won at an auction. Next item was a Matco Tools shirt that sold for $12.99. And Eric and I picked that up at a church sale, and we paid $1 for that. I sold a Winross Libby's juice truck for $29.99. I won that at an auction, and I'd say I paid about $6 for it. I also sold a Sean John men's cologne for $19.99. That came from a yard sale, and I do believe I paid about $2 for that. And then the last thing that I have for this cha-ching was a set of vintage Hunchback of Notre Dame kids cutlery set that sold for $18.99. And I think that actually came from Goodwill, and I probably paid about 99 cents to $1.99 for it. So that is everything for this cha-ching. Out of this cha-ching, I did have one person who didn't pay. Obviously, it's not something that was in this cha-ching because I had to relist it. But as far as eBay is going lately, currently, I know in my past couple of cha-chings here now, I was saying that I wasn't sending out offers currently because I was experiencing a lot of people accepting offers and then not paying. I did start to send out offers again, and I have been paid for every single one that was accepted, so that's great. Knock on wood that continues to happen, because I like sending out offers, because sending out offers really does, you know, bring in the sales, because people are getting, you know, a better deal on the item, and also it's getting some of your inventory out. So, you know, you can bring some more in. So something maybe that'll move along a little faster. I'm the type of person, I'm the type of reseller who I don't mind sitting on stuff. I kind of just list it and then wait for it to sell. So that could be a day from now, it could be a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. Like, it just will sit until, you know, it sells. But you know, I am only working with so much space, especially living in a townhouse. All I have is my basement, and it's obviously not a full-size basement because I'm in a townhouse. So, you know, I definitely don't have a lot of room to store my items and stuff like that. So, you know, as I'm growing as a reseller and bringing in more inventory and listing more stuff and having more listings and things of that nature, it is becoming a little difficult to store things, and I don't want to get to the point where I have to like say no to picking up something that I know is going to be worth reselling just because, like, you know, I may not have the space to store it. So it's been kind of getting me a little anxious a bit. Like, I'm fearing the day of running out of space type of thing. So I definitely want to start getting more offers sent out and, you know, getting a better move along of stuff. I mean, I sell a lot of stuff, but you know, some things I feel like could go a little bit quicker, and you know, there might be some stuff that has been sitting for a while that I really need to reevaluate whether or not it's worth taking up space, you know, on my shelves downstairs and that type of thing. But as far as sales and stuff go, I mean, I think everything's going fine. I feel like, you know, I never feel like sales are just insanely great. They're good, you know what I mean? But like, in the grand scheme of things, like, I'm still like at my all-time highest and everything like that. So I'm really grateful for that, and you know, just hope that it continues to be good. We are in like the dead of, like, you know, people are going on vacations and stuff like that, and are outside and enjoying stuff outside and spending money elsewhere, like on vacations and things like that. So it's always kind of a slower time of the year in general as far as reselling goes, but I do think it's still like not bad by any means. But yeah, I really don't have a whole lot else to talk about within this cha-ching. I'm trying to think if I had any issues lately. I did have a return just this past week. Obviously, it's not in this cha-ching, so you'll probably hear about it when I do get to it. But, you know, that kind of stuff, it happens. You kind of just have to let it go. If someone's not happy with their item, or maybe had buyer's remorse and, you know, just want to send it back and get their money back, then, you know, you can just relist the item and move along. Can't really like let it affect you too much. It's just a matter of it's just a matter of reselling. It's gonna happen kind of thing. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You'll have to let me know what you thought down in the comments and how things are going for you. So I will see you next time.